All right. Your number one. Number one is 13 minus 3i, correct?
Yes.
Who didn't have theirs?
Isaac.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Isaac.
Number three, negative 4 plus square root of 10 plus 2i. Number 5, 12 plus 4i.
You didn't get that right.
7, 9i. 9, x is negative 14, y is 2. 11 is I. 13 is 1. 14 is 34.
You mean 15?
I'm sorry, 15 is 42. 17 is 15 over 29 minus 35 over 29i.
Okay.
19 is negative 7 over 18 plus or minus square root of 131 over 18i.
That was
What
too
if you
much to
just,
handle.
what if you hadn't simplified it yet?
Nope. 21 is negative infinity to negative 1/4 bracket, or bracket 11/4 infinity.
Did I get that? That's good.
23 is parentheses 1/4 parentheses 9/4.
Did I get that?
25 is parentheses negative 3 parentheses 7. 27 is negative infinity to negative 4 bracket, or 2 infinity bracket.
You had your numbers switched up again.
Oh.
29 is negative, parentheses negative 3.5 comma 6.5.
Did I get that?
30 31 is negative infinity to infinity. 33 is parentheses 5 to 7 seconds. And 35 is 20, parentheses 20 comma 40 parentheses.
I did not understand. I didn't understand 31 and 35.
Put plus number correct on the top, please.
What is it out of?
Number that you got correct one.
Oh, okay. You want us to put A on this, or
What's that?
you want us to put A on it?
Yes, please.
Did I get an A?
No, it just means the first part.
Oh.
A means the first half of the worksheet.
I said, did I get an A?
You should know better, Kat.
I couldn't find my red card.
Bon, je vais vous mettre ça, c'est peu. Please only mark when it's wrong. Because it's just, I only see yellow, that's all I see.
You only did that into the ring.
That's how the school works.
Wait, which one did I get switched up though? How did I do that wrong? Oh.
4 and 2.
All right, questions?
Can we go over,
I want to total that.
can we go over 31 and 35, please?
Let me see if that.
Those were both letters.
31, x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 0.
Yeah, that was the one.
What is it
Yeah.
supposed to say?
X squared plus 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to solve by factoring.
Oh.
X squared plus 5 equals 0. X squared equals negative 5. X equals square root of negative 5, which x equals square root of 5i. What does that mean?
I used a graphing calculator.
Yeah, it said graphically.
Okay. So if you did it graphically, x squared plus 5 like that, what are they looking for?
The X is
X is where?
on the x-axis.
It doesn't touch the x-axis.
But it says x squared plus 5 is greater than
or equal.
0. So what values of x can I use that will make this graph greater than 0?
Oh, turn your wrong.
Look at the graph. I'm looking for all the x's that will make this graph, all my y's, greater than 0.
X, negative X, and negative infinity and positive infinity.
Right, all of them. Doesn't
So
matter
all
what,
the X's.
doesn't matter what x I use, the graph is always going to be greater than 0. So my answer would be negative infinity to infinity.
But if it was less than,
If it
then
was less than, it would be
no solution.
no solution.
Okay.
Goodness.
Oh, got it, okay.
Okay.
So if I did it algebraically, I get an imaginary number, no real numbers, so there's no real x-intercept. So that means everything is
Infinite.
above the x-axis, because I know that my parabola is opening up, so therefore it doesn't cross the x-axis. That means the whole thing must be above the x-axis, so therefore I know that it's all real numbers.
Okay, on
And
27.
then 35, which I don't remember ever doing something on 35. I remember doing something like 33.
Alright, 35. Rectangular enclosure must have an area of at least 1,200 yards squared. Rectangle, how do I find area of a rectangle?
You do
Length times width.
So my length and my width must be at least 1,200. They say if 160 yards of fencing is to be used and the width cannot exceed the length, within what limits must the width of the enclosure lie? So that means if I have 160 yards of fencing, here's my rectangle, I must have 160 yards of fence to be enclose that. Well, that is talking about what?
Perimeter.
Perimeter. How do I find perimeter?
2L plus 2W.
Yeah.
Okay? So here, the perimeter has to be 160. So if I solve for my W, my W is 80 minus L.
Oof.
You just plug that back.
Plug that back into here, that's L times 80 minus L is greater than or equal to 1,200. So there's my quadratic. That is 80L minus L squared is greater than or equal to 1,200. Take everything one side, that's 0 is greater than or equal to L squared minus 80L
I'm sorry, I don't understand how you're doing.
plus 1,200.
That's like
I'm
80.
confused on how you, 160 equals,
Alright, so here's my quadratic equation. If I solve by factoring, what factors of 1,200 will add up to equal 80,
60 and
20, and 60? So therefore, L equals 20 and 60. So this is what my equation looks like. I got this is 20, and this is 60. I'm looking for all the values that will make this less than 0. So that's everything between
20 and 60.
20 and 60.
Also including 20 and 60.
Also including 20 and 60. All right?
1 second, I'm confused. Okay, yeah, 80 minus, okay, and then, but I don't understand how you got that standard. Oh, and then you
So all the numbers between 20 and 60 is for my length. So they're looking for within what limits must the width of the enclosure lie? So if I put 20 in for here, the width is what?
60.
60. But if I put 20 in, is my width less than my length?
No.
No. Alright, so I want to find the width or the length that will make my length always bigger than my width. And what length would that be?
60.
No,
For-
because if I
60
put,
for length.
if I put 60 in for my length, alright, if I put 60 in for my length, my width is 20.
So you want
So that's good.
Yeah.
Alright? So I know I can have a width of 20.
you want length to be bigger?
I want length to always be bigger. But if I put 20 in, my width is bigger, correct? So what number can I put in for what's the smallest number for my length I can put in? that would make my width not bigger than my length?
1. Oh.
What number can I put in for L between 20 and 60 that would make sure that my width is not bigger than my length?
19. What?
What is the smallest number I can put in for my length to make sure that my width is going to be equal to
0.
or bigger, or equal to or smaller than my length? Between 20
Or
and 60.
smaller?
I want my width to be smaller than my length. So what number can I put in for L?
21.
That- Alright, 21. What's the smallest number I can put in for my L?
20.
If I put 20 in for my L, my width is bigger. If I put 21 in for my, if
So
I put,
what's our length right now?
Put it in that equation.
my length is between 20 and 60,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I want to know the dimensions of my width so that my width will not be bigger than my length. So therefore, I gotta find a number that I can put in for L that my width would be equal to or smaller than my length.
So right now, so you want a number in between 20 and 60. So yeah, 20.
But if I put 20 in for my length, that means my length is 20, right?
Oh.
What's my width?
You could use
60.
50.
60. But is 50 the smallest number?
No. but
40.
it's-
40,
Because they're equal.
correct.
Ah.
If I put 40 in for my length, what is my width?
40.
40. So that's the biggest my width can be.
Okay.
What's the smallest my width can be?
20.
20. So therefore my width can be 20 to 40.
Okay.
Now, yeah, we could have done this easier by solving for L and putting W in, but either way,
Wait,
It
so
worked.
our length is.
it doesn't matter what the length is. I want to know what is the dimensions of my width that will always be smaller than my length in this situation.
It's an easy. When it says at least, does that mean that it's gonna be less than
So
or
is that
equal to,
width down there?
Greater than or equal to.
greater than or equal to at least? Alright.
Is there still more to this problem?
That's it.
Oh, I was about to say I ran out of room. Goodness gracious. Okay.
Yeah, I do not remember ever doing something like that.
Okay, so I had a question.
Yes.
I have two questions actually, but first off, I don't need you to actually go over 27 because 27x is greater than or equal to 4 and negative 2, right?
Negative 4 and 2 are my x-intercepts, yes.
So I got my thingies mixed up, is that what
I'm looking for where is my values that would make that
Okay,
graph
yeah.
greater than.
I had it the opposite. I had negative 2 and positive 4. So the answer is parenthesis negative infinity.
Because you should have had this, x plus 4 and x minus 2, correct?
Yeah, except I had it flipped.
Oh, yeah, you want that middle number to be positive.
Right.
But again, same thing, both negative 4 and 2. We're looking greater than, so we should have an or. Did you have it as or?
Yeah, I had it as or.
Okay.
I just had it as, the negative 2 in the first one, and not
4
the
in the
second.
second.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so I
Okay.
just flipped them.
What was your answer to 3?
3, negative 4 plus 4 to 10 plus 2i.
Oh, I got negative 4, that's it.
So what happened to the rest?
I don't know. Wait, hold on. Yeah, negative 10 minus 2i equals 4. Negative 10, six- 16. Wait, what?
Isaac, how do you do this one?
I squared?
I squared is -1.
-1. What is minus 3?
-3 is -3.
Square root of 10, minus 1, minus 3, and what is minus I?
Minus I is
I'm sorry, minus
2I
square root of -4.
minus
What's the square root of -4?
4I, and square root 2I.
2I. And you got two negatives there, so that makes it
Positive, so it's positive 2. Oh. Okay. Square root of 10. That makes sense. Alright. Okay.
reading.
And then
Look
I
at
got it all.
What?
Any other questions?
Yeah, real quick, 9.
Number 9.
That's my last one. I have a question.
Alright, now simplify. So if we simplify, simplify for me.
Oh.
Get rid of the parentheses. What I got?
Okay, so 1 plus 2I
-1 minus 2I
minus 6
equals.
equals x parentheses 7
Get rid of the parentheses.
x plus 7 minus yi.
Alright, so you're gonna write everything down with the reals, the imaginary with the imaginary. Alright, what are the reals?
1, 6, x and
-1 minus 6 equals x plus 7.
Oh,
Just get rid of the imaginaries, write the equation down. Now solve for x.
okay. So x equals 0? No, -14.
You do the same thing, get rid of the reals, just write the imaginaries down. And solve for y.
So, negative. What? Can you have an I in the denominator?
Solve for y.
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah.
What happens to the i's?
They cancel.
Correct. So your answer is?
2.
Correct. Yes.
Can you go over 17?
Alright, so to get rid of the right I, the denominator, what are we gonna do?
Well, my first thought was multiply it by like itself. So you do like you know how you square the bottom one.
Nope, not quite. Doesn't get rid of the I. Anybody, how do we get rid of the I?
Conjugate.
Conjugate. What's the conjugate?
5 minus 2I.
Yeah,
Multiply the bottom by the conjugate, you're gonna multiply the top by the conjugate.
the bottom is 25 minus 4I squared,
Which is?
which is
Plus 4.
pop. Yeah. The top would be 20. Are you doing it in your head?
Alright, Caleb, good?
Top would be 25 plus 10I squared.
Nope. FOIL method.
Oh, 5, so 25, plus 10I,
5 times -2I,
minus 10I.
-5I times 5.
Minus 25I
Alright, 10I squared is?
Oh, 10I squared is negative 10.
Plus 25?
15.
10I minus 35, negative 10I minus 25I?
Negative 35I,
25 plus 4.
and that's 29.
Can't have them together, so 15 over 29 minus 35 over 29I.
Are conjugates gonna be on this quiz?
Yes.
Conjugates are like low key easy.
And I
Oh,
wasn't
no,
sure.
conjugate kind of be on the quiz. Okay. Just solving quadratics, absolute value, graphing algebraically.
Okay.
So you need a graphic calculator.
I have one.
You'd be alright with it?
It's brains.
Oh,
Do you know how to use it?
Yes. Should I write Brandon a message?
she has one at home that she doesn't wanna use, so.
Yep.
Cause she dropped it on the floor.
Yep. Should I do a little therapy session? I know it sounds super irrational.
Cat.
I have to tell myself.
Doesn't matter.
What?
Cat.
Any other questions?
What?
What am I asking?
Oh,
How did
but
you,
this 4 is different than my 4
what,
at home.
just tell me the answer for 25 again?
Parentheses, negative 3, 7 parentheses.
Oh, I just wrote it wrong, that's why. Wait, parentheses, aren't they also include, oh, no, they're not, that's where I got it wrong.
Oh, oh,
How many
Okay.
times do you set that password?
I don't know.
And
It's
then
amazing.
29.
Negative 3.5, 6.5 parentheses.
That's what I made this subject on my email.
I
to
did
my
negative
mom.
3.52 and
I emailed
6.5.
my mom. And I said, oh, that's
So
the
that
subject.
one, negative 3.52
And then I
and
wrote,
6.5.
I forgot to take my pills.
I mean, I wrote it wrong too, but like,
Do I seem less focused
Oh,
today?
5.2, yeah, that's fine.
That's why.
Any other questions?
yeah, I fixed that one.
I gotta take my whole brain
Fix
out.
that one.
Long lasting.
Okay. No, I think I'm good.
Still not hungry though.
Or wait, yeah, what's 19?
Negative 7 over 18 plus or minus square root of 131 over 18I.
And how did you do, I know,
Quadratic formula.
you brought the, what?
Quadratic formula.
But then, I know that's what I did, but then once you get
So
to
what I didn't do.
negative 7 plus or minus the square root of negative 131 over 18, what did you do? Cause I turned
What?
it into 11 times the square root of 10.
11, how do you get to 11?
Because 121 is,
It's not 121, it's 131,
I know, but 121 is 11 squared,
but there's no
and then you
121,
put a 10 in.
there's no 121 there.
You have to multiply if you wanna do that. So that's like 121 times something to equal 131.
Yeah,
Not add.
and so,
I could literally be your teacher, Mr. Wilson.
and then you just brought the I down, like you,
Yeah, take the I out, yes. Anytime you have a negative inside the radical, it's always an I.
but then you brought the I down to 18.
No, I just left it beside a fraction. Square root of 131 over 18I.
The whole thing in got it. Alright, thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, oh, oh.
Alright, hang on.